Hello, welcome back. In today's video we are going to be talking about how to know if you are potentially the toxic one in the friendship or the relationship. So let's get started. So let's first start with number one, which is if you note and observe that you get really upset if you don't get your way, and this is something that's a repetitive pattern, this could be a sign that you are the toxic one within that dynamic. So again, that friendship or that relationship. Now, there's not a human being in this world, including myself, who sometimes we just want our way. That's what it means to be human. But if you are unable to move through life, and if you are unable to move through your relationships without always wanting your way or having a complete meltdown every time you don't get your way, this is something to really take note of and also to really work on. The second thing is you're not a supportive friend. All right, so this is what I mean by that. As you're listening to this, I want you to just really hear me and really reflect. If you've got to stand in a mirror, if you've got to ask someone for feedback, but really reflect to assess if this is you. If you are that friend that when your counterpart, your spouse, your partner, your peers are doing really well and you are unable to be celebratory with them because it's not you, you may be the toxic one. Jealousy is a natural emotion that every human being experiences. Contrary to popular belief, every single one of us experience jealousy. Jealousy is not a bad emotion, and that's a topic for another video. But essentially, if you are that friend, if you are that person who can't celebrate the wins and the accomplishments of the people that you supposedly care about, I'm just gonna say it, that there's something wrong there. Not that you're a bad person, but there's something wrong. There's something that you need to take a closer look at. There's some reflecting that you need to do. There might be some trauma that you need to work through and heal, but you should be able to celebrate with your friends. You should be able to acknowledge their accomplishments without feeling that you're less than, without feeling like that your shine is being dimmed, without feeling like other people aren't seeing your accomplishments as well. The third one, you are constantly the victim. You are always victimizing yourself, or as we would say in the therapeutic world, you engage in victimization. Let me expound on that. In other words, victimization really is repeatedly singling yourself out. You're always the person who's being mistreated. You're always the person who doesn't get their way. You're always the person who is the center of being or experiencing unjust. That is not to discount that for some individuals, they really have, unfortunately, repetitive or pervasive, negative experiences. But there's a difference between having pervasive negative experiences and always being the victim and finding a way to be victimized. For example, let's say your friend is the person who experienced a heartbreak, in their relationship, but somehow it ties back to you. Even though you're not a part of that relationship, somehow their heartbreak ties back to all of the things that you tried to do for that friend while they were going through their heartbreak. And now you're the person who's in pain. And somehow, again, you just center it on you. So constant victimization is a sign that you just may be the toxic friend. The next one, you're not yourself around other people. You don't like who you are around certain people. If this is you, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, why do I behave a certain way when I'm around this individual? Why can't I be myself when I'm around that person? Are you character switching? Are you code switching? Now, have we all character switched? Of course. We do it at job interviews. Have we all code switched? Of course. We do it at job interviews. We do it in professional settings. We do it in settings where we want to be invited back. So I completely understand. It's one thing to do it for a purpose, but still having clear understanding of who you are. It's another thing to switch your character so often and so frequently to the point where you forget who you are. You actually start to lose who you are, and you actually take on a persona of someone or something else that is completely opposite of you in an effort to fit in an effort to be invited back, in an effort to be seen as compatible, so on and so forth. The next one, apologizing without sincerity. The other person may be requesting an apology. The other person may need closure by receiving an apology from you. The other person who is hurt, who is in pain, may be expecting an apology. But I am here to tell you that apologizing without sincerity defeats the purpose, and in fact, it's actually quite demeaning. It's like apologizing with an attitude. I'm sorry. What you're doing is you're basically telling that person that there's nothing to apologize for, but because you're saying that you need one, okay, I guess I'll apologize then. Absolutely no point. Now, if that person feels that they need, in order to receive closure, they need an apology for you, and your apology is not going to be genuine, it becomes that person's responsibility to work through and manage the fact that they're not going to get a genuine apology from you. But you offering a disingenuous apology that is insincere really just adds fuel to the fire. It's not honest to yourself, and it's not honest to the other person. So if you find that you often apologize when you don't actually mean it, that's something to look in the mirror and reflect on. And then lastly, you're always gossiping. Gossip, gossip, gossip. If you are that friend, if you are that person, if you are that family member who knows the drama of this person and that person, and you go around talking about it with this person and that person, this person, that person, that is toxic, very unhealthy behavior. You may be under the impression that you're bridging some gaps so that you're communicating or you're helping someone by telling them information that they weren't privy to. But gossip is actually very harmful and can lead to ostracizing behaviors and experiences for the other person. You hear the story, which means that someone else was gossiping about it, and by the time you tell someone else, which means now you're gossiping about it, the story has probably changed, modified, adjusted, which means that there were tweaks in there, and whoever you're telling the story to by that point is probably not getting the whole thing. I might not even know the whole truth myself. So really, I'm just kind of perpetuating this cycle of unhealthy gossiping. And one, it's really not cool. Two, it perpetuates unhealthy communication. Three, it ostracizes people, and it can exacerbate the symptoms that that person is experiencing, whether it's depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. So that's it for today. Those are the few things that can help you to assess, like, am I that toxic friend? So until next time.